What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday. In today's video, I'm excited for, we are continuing to review the splits that dropped in January. I just did Jess's 3-day intermediate split, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. So that's going to be the one to beat. And in this video, I'm going to be trying out Ben's 4-day intermediate split. And first off, I'm a little nervous. 4 days is definitely not my preferred amount of strength. My preferred amount is 3 days. Also, Jess's was amazing, so it's going to be hard to live up to. Ben is one of my absolute favorites, if not my favorite on the bike. But his strength content, I'm just a little iffy about. Like, it's not bad. I just feel like some other instructors do it better. So we'll see how I feel about this split. The description of this program is ready to level up your strength, boost your workout efficiency with split training. This 4-day program targets specific muscle groups for optimal results. Designed to be repeated to build strength and muscle, track your progress. It's 4 days, 1 week program that you're supposed to repeat a bunch of times, and it is 30 minutes a day. So a little bit shorter than Jess's program, which is 45 minutes a day. And all the classes are with Ben Alldis. And yeah, I haven't taken a strength class with Ben in quite some time. I've really been on the Rebecca Kennedy and Andy Spear grind. So this will be interesting. So we're going to be doing Day 1, Class 1 today, which is a 30-minute upper body push class, tagged intermediate. The description is target your chest, shoulders, and triceps in this dynamic upper body push workout. And push is definitely my least favorite day. So I'm kind of happy that we're getting it done with right off the bat. And it'll kind of be a sign for this program. If I like it, then I'll really like the rest of the program. Because if you can get me to like a push day, then you're really doing something right. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out class 1 of this 4-day split. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of pains me to say, but definitely not my favorite, and I'm definitely concerned for the rest of the split. The only good news is that push usually is my least favorite day, so hopefully with pull and leg day, I'll be a little bit happier just because I like the moves more. But my number one complaint is there's just like not a lot of recovery. It does kind of make sense, especially coming off of Jess's 45-minute class, where I just feel like in that you get a lot of recovery, but you also have 45 minutes. So when there's only 30 minutes, like we do have to have less recovery if you want this to be the only push day. But I just feel like it was so little recovery in between sets that I just couldn't push myself to the ability that I wanted to. I feel like when I do strength, like I basically want to be lifting as heavy as I possibly can at all times. And this was just not structured to be like conducive to that. So we started off, we had a 3-minute bodyweight warm up. That was fine. Then we got into like kind of like a prep set, a warm up set. So we did 45 seconds of a push-up into a downward dog, 15 seconds rest, 45 seconds Arnold press, 15 seconds rest, and then 45 seconds bent over Y, 30 seconds rest, and then we repeated that once. And for the Arnold press, Ben said to use light weights. I used 15. I feel like I probably should have used even lighter because it is kind of more of a prep set, and this was the first time that we were touching weights in the class. But the other two moves were body weight. I didn't really have like beef with this set. I just thought it was fine. I mean, I don't know like if I really need a prep set. If we had an effective warm up, this is kind of just like extended warm up. It wasn't good, wasn't bad. That is the only push-ups we do in the class. So it was nice to have the downward dog because I do think that makes it way easier. Then we went into our first straight set, which was a chest press. We did it 4 times. 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. The odd times we did a wide grip and the even times we did a neutral grip, which I like that there was a little bit of a switch. I grabbed 25 pounds because that's typically like my go-to weight for, you know, heavy chest presses. And I could do it, but it was very hard, especially with only 20 seconds of recovery by the time we got to the 4th set. Definitely going very slow. That's the other thing. The entire time we took this class, Ben never had like reps that you were aiming for, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but I think it's also hard for you to tell like when you should push weight if you are retaking this again and again. I don't feel like there's a lot of cues besides like how you internally feel, I guess. But yeah, I like chest presses, but I don't love the format. I wish even it was 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. I feel like I could have gotten like better reps in during that time. Then we got a nice 50-second break when we learned about our next straight set, which was an overhead press. Again, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Again, odd was wide grip, even was neutral. And again, it was okay for me. I used 15 pounds because I was like, realistically, I can't go up to 20 in these settings. 20 would be a big push for me, but like, I feel like 15, I don't know how much I get out of it. But with the little amounts of recovery, that's what I was doing. The neutral presses actually feel a lot easier for me than the wide grip, but you know, we got through it all. Again, I wish it was 30 on, 30 off. I just feel like it feels so rushed with only 20 seconds of recovery. I mean, by the time that you put the weights down and then like you also need time to pick the weights back up, you're getting like 10 seconds without weights, but we got through it. Then we did our accessory set where we did 45 seconds chest fly. I used 15 pounds, 15 seconds rest. 45 seconds L raise, I went down to 12 pounds, 15 seconds rest, and then 45 seconds of skull crushers, 15 seconds rest, and then we did that again. And again, just like not a lot of recovery. Honestly, this one wasn't too bad because we're using like pretty light weights at this point and they're all kind of using different muscles. So this wasn't like the worst set. I definitely felt more fatigue on the straight sets, and I'm also choosing lighter weights because I know that I don't have a lot of recovery. But yeah, 15 seconds of recovery, you know, not a lot there. And then we had a little burnout at the end, which I also was not a huge fan of this. It was 30 seconds of push presses, 30 seconds of chest flies, 30 seconds of tricep kickbacks, and then 30 seconds rest, and we repeated again. My problem is that my push press weight and my chest fly weight are quite different. So I used 15 pounds the whole time. There was no time to like change weights, but yeah, typically I would try to go a little bit heavier on the push press. 15 pounds for chest flies is quite a challenge for me. And then 15 pounds for tricep kickbacks is fine. So I guess like some sections I went harder than others, but for me, I just prefer to have the rest so that I can grab the appropriate weight. But you know, we did not have that. And then the class was over. I will say it did go by very quickly, and like my arms are sore, so it was an effective workout. Like I do feel like for this to be your only 30-minute push workout of the week, you know, we got a lot in there, and I think that was Ben's intention. I'm just like not a fan of the really small amounts of recovery because I do like to push the weight a lot more. But besides that, like I do love Ben's personality. I love him on the bike. Like it is fun to take a class with him, and I'm really into his music choices. Like he mostly plays EDM. So I enjoyed the vibe of the class. I just didn't enjoy the content that much. And I definitely think that this will prevail throughout this week, but you know, we'll see. I do like legs and pull a lot more, so there is a potential that I would enjoy it more. But enjoyability for today, I'm not gonna lie, I'd literally give it like a 5 out of 10, which is pretty low for me. It wasn't like the worst thing in the world. I just feel like it's not motivating to me to work out in this fashion. And then difficulty, I would give like a 7 out of 10. I feel like it was difficult because there wasn't a lot of recovery, but then at the same time, I just modified my weights because I knew there wasn't a lot of recovery. So I'm not gonna like do super heavy weights. So I always feel like difficulty is kind of like what you make of it. It really depends on what weights you choose. But yeah, I just chose lighter weights so that I could do these moves. So overall, a little disappointing today, but we'll see how the rest of the week goes. It is now 2 days later. We had a break from the split yesterday. I will say I was a tiny bit sore yesterday morning. It definitely went away pretty quickly, but you know, it does feel good to be sore after a strength workout. Know you worked yourself hard, but we're ready to get back on into it with class 2, which is a 30-minute legs and core strength day. The description is, this split workout focuses on strengthening your largest muscles while also improving core and lower back stability. And it looks like he's doing a dumbbell swing in the cover photo. So, I feel like today could be a good day. I see some deadlifts in my future, some dumbbell swings. I do like legs. Core, jury's still out, but we'll see how it goes. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out class 2 of this 4-day split. Okay, so I definitely like this class more than last class, but I think that it mostly boils down to I just like leg movements more than push. Like push is easily my least favorite. The only other thing that was nice is that because it is legs and core, like a lot of the sets that don't have a lot of recovery, you're switching between legs and core movements. So you kind of get recovery from that muscle group when you're doing the other muscle group versus on push day, you're just doing like the push muscles a ton. There were still some straight sets though, so I definitely did feel a little bit of fatigue, but I also just like modified and chose the correct weights for that. So we started off, we had a 3-minute bodyweight warm up. This was great, no complaints. We did like world's greatest stretch. We also did some like bodyweight squats, bodyweight reverse lunges. Like it felt good. Really no issue. Then we got into the first set, which he calls a prep set. I do not like the prep sets, I can officially say. It's basically just like a continuation of warm up. So he's like, it's 45 seconds deadlift, 15 seconds rest, 45 seconds bird dog on one side, 15 seconds rest, and then 45 seconds single leg deadlift on one side, 15 seconds rest, and then repeat that again and obviously switch to the other side. Here he is like, use light weights for the deadlifts. And then I think for the single leg, he wanted us to use no weights at all. And for me, I just like don't need that long of a warm up. I used 20 pounds for the deadlifts, which is still a pretty lightweight for me. And then I stuck with the 20 pounds for the single leg deadlifts, which is definitely a little bit more of a push, but nothing crazy. Like, this is a long set, right? Like it takes 6 minutes out of the 30 minutes of the class. And I just feel like we could have been doing better things. He did say at the beginning that this day is a hinge day and that there's another legs and core day. Like that's the 4th day of the split. And that will be more of a squat day. And yeah, he was not joking. Like we did a lot of hinges in this class. And I do like hinge movements, but I almost feel like it was overkill and got boring at some points because we just did so many deadlifts. And I really like deadlifts. So for me to say that, that's a lot of deadlifts. After our prep set, we got into our first like real set, which was 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 2 movements, and we did it 3 times. The first movement was just an RDL. He said use heavy weights. I used 30 pounds. Honestly, I'd love to push a little bit harder, but with like the not a lot of recovery, I feel like 30 pounds was a good challenge. And then the second move was shoulder taps in a plank position. I like shoulder taps, no real beef there. And it was nice to like get a longer break from the deadlifts, obviously, and recover and feel like I can go at the 30 pounds again. That set was good. I just feel like even by then, I'm like, this is a lot of deadlifts. But then our next set was 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, dumbbell, single leg deadlift on one side and then the other side. And we just repeated that 3 times. And man, oh man, that was even more deadlifts. I used 20 pounds mostly because I just had 30s and 20s out. And I was like, I just don't feel like grabbing 25s. I feel like that's not a great reason to choose 20s, but I honestly think that was a good weight for me. My biggest problem with single leg deadlifts is I actually don't have good balance. And it's weird because my balance on my left foot is so much better than my balance on my right foot, but I'm a righty. So I don't know where that comes from, but yeah, on my left foot, I can usually do them. On my right foot, I occasionally lose balance. But yeah, I mean, it was effective. Even more deadlifts, 20 pounds felt good. Then we went into an accessory set, which we just did one time. It was 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off, Hip bridges, he said to use a medium weight. I grabbed my 30 because I wanted to push myself a little bit. Then forearm side plank hip dip on one side, then on the other side, and then finish off with reverse lunges, which he did these at body weight, but I grabbed my 20 pounds just to add a little bit of weight. I feel like there was kind of a lot of body weight in this class, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I like to lift weights, so I was just kind of grabbing the lighter weights when he was doing body weight. Then we had our last set, which was 30 seconds of dumbbell swing. He either said to use like basically any weight you want. Use like medium, heavy, 2 weights, 1 weight. I used 1 heavy weight, so 1 30-pound. That felt good. Definitely a challenge, and definitely because there was no recovery, it really got the heart rate up. So we did 30 seconds of dumbbell swings right into 30 seconds of dumbbell sumo deadlift, and I just stayed with my 130-pound. I would have actually loved to grab 2 20s, but there's just no recovery or transition time, so it just feels like if you're going to do that, you're going to lose a lot of time in the set. And then we finished off with a high plank and then like walking into a bear plank, walking back out to a high plank. Then we got 30 seconds of rest, repeated that again, and then the class was over. This class still just felt chaotic to me, especially towards the end. Like after we did the single leg deadlifts, I just feel like we were really doing random moves. I'm really not a big fan of just doing a set once, and I actually like the hip bridge set, so I would have liked to repeat that again. And yeah, I just feel like I really got nothing out of the prep set, and it was pretty long. It just feels like we're making the warm-up really, really long for a 30-minute class. I do like hinge movements more, so it definitely wasn't as bad as the push day, but again, not my favorite. Enjoyability, I would give like, I don't know, a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. It wasn't like the worst thing in the world, and I do like deadlifts, as I've said 1,000 times now, but yeah, I just feel like this wasn't super impressive to me. It's not something that I would gravitate towards to come back to. Difficulty, I would give like a 6 out of 10. I actually thought that this was pretty easy, but I also think part of it is that I was choosing lighter weights because I knew that there wasn't a lot of recovery. But I also feel like I am getting better at core, so the core portions felt pretty easy to me. I feel like the hardest core was the hip dips, and we only did that once. So yeah, I feel like this class was a like good balance between legs and core, but definitely not my favorite. And if there was going to be a favorite day out of this split, it would have been this one because hinge movements are my favorite. But I do want to finish this split, and it's honestly not a bad workout. I feel like I complain a lot, but that's just because I'm comparing it to some splits that I really, really love, especially coming off of Jessa's split. Like I have such high expectations that, yeah, it's just kind of a miss for me, which is sad because Ben is my boy. Again, the music was good. His personality is great. This is just not a structure that I love. It is now the next day. It's Friday morning, and we're just gonna get right on into class 3 of this split. I did not feel sore at all, so I felt good this morning, and I was like, you know what? Let's just keep on going with a 30-minute upper body pull day today. The description is strengthen your back, biceps, and core with this hard-hitting upper body pull workout. And I do like pull movements as well, so even if I don't like the structure, I should still enjoy this class. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out day 3 of this 4-day split. This was definitely my favorite class in the split so far. The structure was very similar, but I feel like we did some interesting moves, some moves that I've either never done before or haven't done a lot, which I do think compared to like yesterday where we just did many, many deadlifts, this is a little more interesting. I don't know exactly how much the repeat value would be because I think it is very unique move. So it could be very obvious if you're repeating this, for 6 weeks that like these moves would get annoying because they are a little bit weird. I don't know, jury's still out on that, but today I definitely enjoyed it more than I did the last 2 days. We started off, had our 3-minute bodyweight warm up, and then we got into our prep set of the day, which was 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, 3 moves, and we did it twice. The first was reverse fly, the second was bent over rows, and the third was the first kind of interesting move, which was a dumbbell shrug. So you're just holding the dumbbells by your side and shrugging your shoulders. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this move. Ben said to use light weights for this. I used 15 pounds. That's definitely kind of more of a push weight for me for the reverse flies, but for the bent over rows and dumbbell shrugs, that's definitely on the light side. And yeah, like I want to push myself. I don't need like such a long warm up. So I felt like that was a fine prep set and I was happy with the weights that I chose. Then we went into our first kind of straight set, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 4 times, but on the odd times, we did wide grip bent over rows, and on the even, we did neutral grip bent over rows, which I do like alternating the way that we are rowing. And I used 20 pounds for this set, which I feel like was a good weight with the amount of recovery we get. I think 25 would have been very hard with such little recovery, but I do feel like I got good rows in. The neutral is definitely easier than the wide grip. So yeah, I feel like I was happy with this set. No real complaints. I do like rows. Then we went into our next set, which again, I thought was a little bit interesting. Structured the same, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, 4 times. On the odd times, we did reverse fly, but you had the weights like where your palms were facing your body and then you kind of reversed out this way, which I don't think I've ever done that before. Definitely kind of an awkward movement because I have never done it before. I had 15 pounds and I did it once at 15 and then I dropped down to 12 because I was like, I don't really know if I'm doing the form correctly and I don't know if because the weight is too heavy. But with 12, I feel like the form was also kind of weird. So I don't know if it's just like a move I need to practice a little bit more or what. But I think I would try to keep doing it at 15. It's just like a little bit different movement than a normal reverse fly. I do appreciate him mixing it up, offering some interesting moves. It definitely keeps it a lot more interesting. So that was an interesting first move. And then the second move was a high pull. I stayed with 15 for this. I might have been able to go up to 20, but honestly, the like weird reverse fly was what I was thinking about during this set. And yeah, 15 high pulls was still good. I like high pulls. That's another move that's like not super common in the classes I take. I have done those before. I definitely think this was the most interesting set in the class, so I liked it. Then we got into our accessory set, which was 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, 3 moves, did it twice. It was a bicep curl, then a dumbbell shrug, and then bent over rows, but they were 20 seconds on one side, 20 seconds on the other side. I used 15 pounds for the bicep curls. That's a good weight for me. I really feel like I can get really good bicep curl reps in at 15. Like I'm not swaying around at all, but it does feel challenging. And then I went up to 20 pounds for the shrug and the bent over row. I honestly think I might have been able to push the shrug a little bit further, but honestly, I like really don't know. I feel like it's such an interesting move and just something I haven't done a lot. So I was fine with the 20. The 20 pounds for the bent over rows felt good. And then we finished off with a little finisher, which was 30 seconds on of 3 moves, no recovery. And we did a renegade row, hammer curl, and reverse flies. So you need to use the same weights for everything. I used 15 for everything, felt like it was good. The renegade row to hammer curl was definitely a little bit of an awkward transition because you had to like, pop up from plank position. And then we got a 30-second rest and we repeated that again. I like that as a little finisher, really no complaints. I like all those moves, so it felt good. And then the class was over. Definitely like very similar structure to the other days, but I know what to expect. So I feel like I can prepare myself. And then, yeah, I feel like the moves are a lot more interesting in today's class, so I liked it more. And the music was great, EDM, Ben was great. For enjoyability, I would still only give this like a 7 out of 10. It's still not my preferred way to work out, but yeah, I feel like this one was definitely the most interesting we've taken so far. Difficulty, I would give this like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to rate. Maybe like a 6.5 out of 10. I honestly think the most difficult part is kind of the moves that I haven't done before, just kind of getting used to them. But it also wasn't like I was going crazy heavy, so also wasn't like extremely difficult. But yeah, this one, it was interesting. I feel like that's the best way to describe it. But we're feeling good. 3 out of 4 days done, and I'm excited to wrap it up next time. It's now Monday morning. I took the whole weekend off from this split, but we're ready to get back into it and wrap it up. We have class 4, which is a 30-minute legs and core strength. The description is this split workout focuses on strengthening your largest muscles while also improving core and lower back stability. And I did like the legs and core day. I am a little bit worried because today is mostly focused on squats, which is definitely harder than deadlifts for me. So we'll see how it goes. And let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and wrap up day 4 of this 4-day split. I actually did like this class today, which I was pretty surprised. I was kind of preparing myself to not like it, but I feel like I do like when it's legs and core and you kind of get a break from each exercise. And I liked the prep set, which is interesting. I don't know if because it's a Monday morning and I had a rest day yesterday, I'm feeling a little like slower. But yeah, the prep set was good. And I feel like that's my biggest complaint in all the other classes. So we started off, we had a 3-minute warm up, and this was like mostly mobility. We even did some stretching, which no complaints there. That's my favorite kind of warm up. Then our prep set was 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, 3 moves, a lateral lunge, dumbbell sumo squat, and then high plank. And he said you can either use a dumbbell or you can do body weight. I used a 20-pound dumbbell and felt like this was perfect. For lateral lunges, that feels pretty good. Like I could go heavier, but I do feel like I get a good workout out of doing the 20 pounds. 20 pounds for a sumo squat is definitely on the easier side, but he's told us that we were going to do it again with heavier weights. So I feel like it was just a good way to warm up the squats. And then I have no issue with 45 seconds high plank. I do feel like part of it is my attitude because I don't think this prep set is much different than the other prep sets in the other classes. But this one just did not bother me. We did it twice. Then we got into the lower body section, which was 2 EMOMs. And basically the EMOMs are exactly like the straight sets we did before because the first EMOM was 4 minutes and it was a dumbbell sumo squat, 10 reps. And the second EMOM, which was also 4 minutes, was a goblet squat, 10 reps. So he's basically like, yeah, aim for 40 seconds of work, like try to do that and then have 20 seconds recovery, which is what we did in the other classes basically. But I like the branding of the EMOM. That like totally gets me to change my mindset. I really like having a rep goal because I just feel like I'm like working towards something rather than just like, oh, do as many reps as possible in 45 seconds. So yeah, I just feel like I do so much better with the EMOM sets, which is kind of crazy because it is basically the same thing as we were doing in the other classes. And it's kind of interesting that he just decided to make these EMOMs in this class versus like all the other classes that we've done similar workouts, but no complaints for this class. I definitely like the EMOMs. For the sumo squats, I used 2 25 pounds, which definitely I was breathing heavy, getting the heart rate up. Like I was happy there was no one else in the gym today because I was definitely grunting a little bit. And then for the goblet squat, I first used 1 25-pound dumbbell, but I was like, that's way too easy. So I bumped up to 1 30-pound dumbbell, which I thought was good. So I like that section, definitely a lot of squats, but I like EMOMs and I feel like, you know, we set out what we came to do. I knew it was going to be squat heavy, so I was prepared for that. Then we had a little bit of a core section where we did 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. We did shoulder taps, then forearm side plank on one side, forearm side plank on the other side, dead bug, and then a like high plank walking into a bear plank, walking back out to a high plank. All of these core movements are fine. They're basic core movements. I have no problems with them. I do feel like I've been mentioning this a lot lately, but I do feel like my core is getting stronger. So the core sections like don't feel that hard anymore, which is really great. Although maybe I need to go take like Crush Your Core with Emma so she can humble me. But for now, I'm like, you know, good. We did the core, we got in, we got out. And then we finished off with a little superset, which was 45 seconds of front lunges. I used two 25 pounds, which man, oh man, definitely a push weight for me. And front lunges are not my favorite, but we pushed through and did it. 15 seconds rest and then 30 seconds of squat jumps. And I will say I did 5 squat jumps each round, and then I just went to doing them like on my toes. I really, really hate squat jumps. When Ben said that there were squat jumps, I was like, Ben, like, what are you doing? We were having a good time in this class. Like, this was definitely the best class I took so far, and then you're putting squat jumps in. You know, it's okay. I forgive you. He did say you could like modify and go up on your toes. Even if he didn't say that, I probably would have done that. But honestly, I'm proud of myself for even doing 5 squat jumps and then moving to just going up on my toes. You know, we're making a little bit of progress. I might have been able to plow through the squat jumps if I wasn't pushing heavy weight for the front lunges for me. But yeah, after the front lunges, I was tired. And we did that set 3 times and then the class was over. I feel like this class also went by faster for me today. I mean, the 30 minutes really does fly by, and like by the time we're done with the prep set, it is already 10 minutes into class. But I just like the Imam branding. Like that totally gets me. And yeah, I just feel like today was a good day. Enjoyability, I would give this like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. It still was not like my absolute favorite thing ever, but I did enjoy it. And I especially went in with like very low expectations. So I feel like that helped too. Difficulty, I would give like a 7 out of 10. I actually think you got a little bit more recovery in this. It really depends how fast you could do the 10 reps in the EMOM. For the sumo squats, I probably only got like 20 seconds recovery, but for the goblets, I could do them a bit faster. So I got a little more recovery there. So yeah, I feel like it was a very reasonable class. The core section was not bad. The prep was not bad. Really, the hardest set for me was the ending set, but I did modify on the squat jumps. So overall, today was good, but I think you can probably tell based on my reviews of the other classes, I will not be retaking this split. I do think that it's great that they offer a bunch of different splits for different types of people, and obviously people like it. Like there's a lot of people taking this class, and he says like, yeah, repeat this split at least 4 times, but this is just not my vibe. I definitely like the lifting even heavier and then having a lot more recovery. And yeah, I feel like I didn't go in with this with super high expectations. I know that Ben is not my absolute favorite for strength. I do love him on the bike, but for strength, I just feel like he's never really stuck out to me. So I do feel like it kind of met my expectations there, but there are just other splits, even just Sim split that just came out, that I think are way better for me. So that is all my thoughts on this split. Let me know if you've taken it, and if so, what you think. I would be curious. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.